So there's an analogy that I normally use with my parents for various reasons. And that analogy is this. If somebody had a stab wound and they also had a headache and had to go to the emergency to be treated, what will the doctor do first? Will the doctor deal with the headache first? Will the doctor deal with the stab wound first? Or will the doctor attend to both at the same time? Of course, the doctor is going to attend to the stab wound first. Why? Because that is serious. That is the one that, if it is not treated promptly, it would have the most dire consequences. So we need to learn from this then and apply it to our studies. So what we need to do in our revision plan for GCSE is we need to identify our strengths, but more importantly, our weaker areas. We need to identify our weaker subjects so we know which subjects we should allocate more time to, but also the weaker topics. What are those topics that we are struggling with? And there are various ways that you can do this. You could use, past test scores. So look at your, past papers, mock exams, what were those areas that you didn't do so well in your mock exams, not even just topics, but type of questions perhaps that you find you're struggling with. You can use checkbooks. Another way, a simple way to do that is just to look through the contents page of your books and kind of go through and go, oh, I don't know what that is, or I'm not very good with that. Once we identify those weaker areas, we can then focus on those weaker areas. And by focusing on these areas first, that will make the biggest difference in our final grades, just as treating a stab wound first is going to make a biggest difference to a person, right? Because there's no point in treating the headache when the stab wound is still there and has those huge consequences. A good way to do this then is using the traffic light system. So you can go through a checklist, use green to, look at topics that you look at that you think, I'm happy with this, 80% there, maybe even 70% there, I'll give that a green. I think I'm okay, maybe 50, 60% there, I'll give that an amber. And I'm about 30% there, there's a lot of work to go, I'll give that a red. And those are the topics that you now need to start working on. So once you identify your weakness, this will then give you a great starting point as to where to focus on. So the first step then in the GCSE revision plan to get all grades 8s and 9s is to assess and prioritize the focus areas.